Hey everybody, Sandy Rakowitz here, One Heart Healing Center and soon to be One Heart University. That's some new news that I'm going to start talking about. The university, a universe of learning. For now, I just got off, finished working with one of my groups and who's an animal communication and business group, and oh my god, it's just so beautiful, amazing and wonderful to be working with these wonderful, compassionate, big-hearted, beautiful soul beings in human bodies. And one of the conversations that we were doing while sharing about case studies, really just sharing about the business part of working with clients, as well as the internal processes that are going on. And one of the things that is so common in my working with, especially with women entrepreneurs, but with anybody who's in business for themselves, or really this happens in life all the time, it's not just people in business, but it really gets brought to the forefront when you're in business for yourself, or with yourself as a solopreneur. And it's really about the fears that happen, right? The way that fear ends up running the bus, that instead of you being in the driver's seat. So it's so fascinating what came out in this discussion, that people don't often get to have a space held for the internal, really what it is the internal judgments, the internal fears, where we're not further judged, where we're not having pressure put on us to do it. Like often we'll say, oh, I have to clear my mind, therefore I have to set all of those things aside. I can't listen to all the, it often called monkey chatter or monkey mind, right? And underneath what we got to pretty quickly was the dialogue that doesn't even get a chance to be heard. What's driving it is the fear of being wrong, the fear of being judged, the fear of not getting it right, the fear of not getting all the information, the fear of not having all the right answers, and whatever that might mean for you, the fear of being wrong or doing something wrong. And when we're in our own, creating our own businesses, we put so much pressure on ourselves, and our culture has so, we have so much stuff around how we're supposed to be and how it's all supposed to look and how it's supposed to feel. And oh my heavens, it's so much internal pressure. And being able to feel feelings, hear those thoughts, have these dialogues. I've learned so much from working with the animals, and just from my own, what I used to call my own monkey mind. And it turned into a discussion about how we talk about ourselves in this culture, how we refer to ourselves. So much is said jokingly, but like, oh, I have to get hit upside the head, for me to pay attention. I used to say things like that. And what you end up creating is that situation. I started getting hit on the head. Like, why do we have to talk about ourselves like that? Why do we have to let those fears run the bus all the time? Like, I know all the old stories, it's like understanding the old stories, getting connected with those parts of ourselves that are speaking this way. But there's another way. We can make these decisions. We don't have to keep doing things the ways in which we've done them in the past. And so what we also looked at is how that interrupts what's happening in your business when we are run by those judgments. And they happen under our radar a lot of times. We don't even realize the extent to which we have them sometimes. Some people do, but a lot of times we don't even realize the very subtle ways that they interrupt the beautiful work that we do and our gifts. So, for example, when we, if you get an initial sense, and this is, I work a lot with creatives, psychics, animal communicators, healers, body workers, intuitives, right? Empaths. When we don't listen to even the subtle things, like if somebody contacts you and and there's some, for instance, if somebody gifts an appointment with you for someone, a friend, and you get a funny feeling, and you just forge forward anyway, and you don't fully give a lot of space for that. And sometimes what I've seen is that ends up weaving through the rest of your session, where you start off with that tone of, if you look into it, it could be parts of like, well, they're not my ideal client. Well, these are all the stories that can go on in our head. Well, what boils down to is, well, are they going to believe me? Well, are they going to, I have to prove myself. Well, I've got to make a certain point. I've got to do this and that and the other thing. And what ends up happening is it interrupts the deeper flow of contact, connection, understanding, presencing, essence, the rest of the messages. It literally, when you start, we're doing these case studies, and so we're really following and tracking what happens and helping to pause and be able to find a different pathway inside of ourselves, so that we don't have to work against ourselves so much, right? So that we can have these places, like literally, like I see it energetically. It's like this part is like doing this sort of current because it's based in fear, and it's interrupting, and there's this other thing that like knows and understands, and it's like they're working against each other. It's like, whoa, it's like this crashing currents inside. And when we find some of the keys, which we can, I can help you do that. And the tides, instead of like being a rip current carrying you way away or something, or having these crashing waves inside of yourselves, like that current starts to work together, so that these parts of yourselves can be an ally, because they are holding really important things that you have inside of yourselves, these important gifts, and they have important information. We just want to get rid of it because we have all these judgments about our judgments. We have our judgments about, the monkey mind. We have our judgments about all these things, and there's this stuff is here for reasons. And oh my gosh, we work so much harder than we need to. It takes up so much energy. And helping these parts of ourselves be allies with each other, it's so much more fun. It's so much easier. It's so much more fulfilling. And that shifts the energy when you're in a session with someone. Your baseline that you hold for helping another, so that you can help them even more fully and more deeply, whatever the work is that you're doing, whatever type of work it is in the world. And it's just so much fun to be part of that process with people and helping those things shift, being part of that, help those things shift so that people can really just come into themselves more. And it's a beautiful process. It's really exciting. It's really exciting to watch, people's faces change, and in the moment, in a session, in a group, how see their expressions just open up, and their hearts open, and their faces get more relaxed. And, as people were saying things like, it's not just about getting yourself out of the way. Like, that's a really old way to describe it, that I don't think it's still part of the paradigm of judging ourselves and being harsh with ourselves. It's like letting those natural gifts have their space and work together in concert with orchestrating. Like, it's a whole orchestration inside of ourselves, right? So it's beautiful. It's such an exciting thing to watch and be witness to, that people can come into themselves and change, that's so possible. It's so possible. And that opens up new possibilities for even how you do your business, for creating the environment that you are really going to thrive in. Like, part of the discussion today was even about thinking about a live stream or a Zoom, is part of our office space now for many of us, and how we create what we're doing in our office space, how we think about what we want our practices, our businesses to look like and feel like, and so that we can thrive, and not putting everybody else's needs forward first. It's in consideration of ourselves and letting that come into the forefront. So there's so many different pieces we covered today. There's so many things that we've been doing. So if you resonate with any of this, all of this, and have a desire to get more fully in your own driver's seat, in your own work in the world, in your life, in your business, whatever that might be, and want to be able to bring out more of your gifts, more of your strengths, and have a better idea of what those even are, how to cultivate that for yourselves, and let those doors swing open into your dreams, right? And help them, activate them, actively activate them on purpose, with decisions, not out of pushing yourself through things, not out of pushing through like a business strategy that somebody else created, like finding what these things are for you and what they look like, and going with it, and getting the help and the support to progress, to find your way through all of those seemingly little pieces that are actually big parts of helping you to create that business that's going to work for you. Especially in these days, we all need we need support, we need contact, we need connection. We need it. We do. Going back out into the world and having all the shifts and switches that are happening, day to day, throughout the days again, it's a big deal navigating everything. So if you resonate with any of this, you want some assistance with any of these pieces, all of these pieces and parts, you want to create more in your business, you want to develop it in new ways, contact me. Just private message me. Ask me some questions. I've got a few spots open in one of my groups, and one spot open for doing some more privates over a longer period of time, and working one-to-one coaching. So just contact me or email me, sandy@onehearthealingcenter.com. One is spelled out O-N-E, onehearthealingcenter.com. Let's talk and see what you're needing and where we can go from there. So, have a beautiful day. Embrace who you are and what you've got inside and all the gifts. Bye for now.